The Seahawks win ugly in New York thanks to a beautiful performance from Leonard Williams. Welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Sports Show where we love Seattle pro sports. I'm your host, Mikey, and we are here to talk about the Seattle Seahawks win over the New York Jets 26-21. And yeah, that was an absolute ugly game from the Seahawks. You've probably already heard by now, but Laviska Shenault has already been let go from the team. Lost a fumble on a kick return, another fumble that, you just you're a kick returner. You're a receiver as a kick returner. You have to be able to catch the ball on the kickoff. He put the Seahawks in multiple bad situations during this game and throughout the season has not been great back there. So they decide to let him go. I am not the type of person who would call for people's jobs. And, I'm not like the social media hothead who gets on and says, "Oh, this person needs to be fired right now. They suck." But if I was the coach, the head coach of a football team, coming from that point of view, I would have to say this guy cannot be on my team anymore. He's not adding enough value in what we're asking him to do to be on my team, because he's not having great returns. He's a receiver, but he's not performing well enough in that position to even get on the field. I mean, obviously we have DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tyler Lockett, but then to also not be getting on the field ahead of, players like Jake Bobo, man, I'm drawing a blank on the other guy's name. But yeah, also multiple tight ends getting on the field ahead of him. He's not getting it done as the returner, which is what he's supposed to do, and he's not good enough to be on the field. There's 7, 8, 9, combinations of receivers, tight ends, and even running backs lining up at receiver before you put him out there on the field as a receiver. So not adding enough, and then you've done enough to harm the team that you can't be on the team anymore. Now, D. Williams also lost a fumble in this game, and I'm not sure what he's been adding in that situation either. If I was a head coach, again, this is another guy I'd be looking at. Well, you also have a fumble. You've not been a great returner. You're not getting on the field at corner. You're just not adding. So I'm not sure. If we put it in that view of the head coach and who I want to be on my team, and who's adding for my team or potentially harming my team, I'm not sure why D. Williams is still here. Another guy who has trouble. He's had multiple games where he's had trouble fielding the ball. or just misreading where the ball's going, and then not calling for a fair catch, or letting a ball go by him, and letting the ball get pinned even deeper. So that's another one. If I were them, I'd be taking a serious look at. But yeah, unfortunate for Laviska Shenault. You don't like to see people lose their jobs, but at the same time, you got to perform. And somebody who did perform was Leonard Williams. He had 4 tackles total, 2 sacks. 3 of those tackles were tackles for loss. He had obviously a pass deflected, an interception, and a touchdown. 92-yard interception touchdown return. Not the longest, but one of the longest in Seahawks history. This is a defensive tackle, 6'5", over 300 pounds. They say he reached 17 miles per hour on that return. This man was moving. And again, the thing that I love to see from this team, when somebody gets an interception, picks up a fumble, the whole team is there to create a convoy, to make sure that person gets as far as possible, if not the touchdown, as Leonard Williams did in his case. Just a beautiful play from Leonard Williams. As I said, he's a defensive tackle, so where he was lined up over the center on this play, he's in the middle of the defensive line. The ball gets snapped. He kind of fakes like he's gonna rush, but then he pulls out to the flat. Rodgers doesn't expect it, doesn't see him. Bam, he bats it with that hand, tips it up to himself, and then yeah, again you see the convoy go with Leonard Williams. And if this would have been intercepted by a corner or a safety, then I'm saying, oh yeah, that guy is for sure going for a touchdown, because the lane and the path to the touchdown, it was just there. It's one of those plays that when it's thrown out there to the sideline and there's no defender, I mean there's only one receiver there, and when the corner intercepts it, you know that's going all the way back. This was a defensive tackle, and he just gets to move in, gets a convoy there, and there was twice where I was worried, oh no, somebody might be able to catch him. But again, that Seahawks convoy of players there, just making sure that they're stepping in the way to slow the other players down enough to allow Leonard Williams to take it all the way back for his first career touchdown in the NFL. That was amazing to see. So much fun. In a game that was otherwise ugly and not fun in the way of, watching good performances from your players, right? Because again, we saw both of our kick returners here not doing well. We continue to see the offensive line not be good, especially the interior. We saw this week. Okay, well, as hopeful as I was for Oluwatimi, and I think he was still better than what we've seen, still was not like, oh, this is him stepping up and proving that he is the starting center for years to come. Satawa Lamea, your 6th round rookie out of Utah, getting a chance to start at guard in this game. Again, look decent compared to what you've had so far, but not anything to be excited about Not you don't all of a sudden say, "Oh yes, this is the guy that is our new starting right guard for years to come," and we don't have to worry about that position anymore. Left guard, do I even have to mention it? Yeah, we're nowhere near close to having anything that resembles, you know, a true starting left guard in the NFL. So that looked horrible, and it really affected the run game. K9, he got 16 carries in this game, but just 49 yards. Charbonnet, he had 4 carries for 28 yards, so he had that one long run to set up a first down that was huge. But overall, the offensive line was just not good enough in creating lanes for our running backs. And the couple times that there, again, this has to me always been the downside of K9, is that he just doesn't seem to see it, or he doesn't trust it, and he doesn't just hit the hole, going north to south. He wants to go sideways. He wants to look for something else to see if he can find more somewhere, and then he just misses opportunities to gain. Even if it's just a 3 to 4 yard gain, it's better than searching around for something and ending up with nothing, in my opinion. So I will put a couple of the plays on K9 for not just taking what's in front of him, but the offensive line in general was not good enough. Gino did not have a fantastic grade. Didn't have a great day. He was 20 for 31, 206 yards, had 1 touchdown, a rating overall of 94.3, but he took 3 sacks for 31 yards lost total. One of them being on that 4th down on the 1 yard line, going for it on 4th and goal, and then you take like a 19-yard sack and let them have it on the 20. You just can't do that. Even if you're rolling out to your left and you got all that pressure in front of you, you can't try to get away from that. You just have to throw it. You got to throw it, try to force it to your receiver, or just throw it away. And worst case scenario is you're giving it to them on the 1 yard line. But don't take a sack there and give the ball back to them without any pressure of being against the goal line. That was just dumb. Thankfully, he did not have any interceptions this game. He had the 1 touchdown to no interceptions. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk about how many interceptions Geno Smith has thrown this season. Look across the league. He's right on par with all the, Geno Smith is not an elite quarterback, but it's not, he's on par with all the elite quarterbacks on the amount of interceptions he's throwing. But thankfully, he didn't throw an interception in this game as well, because if he did, I think that would have just been too much, because there was too many other big mistakes in this game to afford an interception from Geno in this one. In the receiving game, nothing huge, right? AJ Barner had the 1 reception for the touchdown. Again, he's a guy that I see stepping up at the tight end position where I'm like, this guy's the tight end of the future. Even though Noah Fant did have 3 receptions himself, I still think AJ Barner, if we're looking to the future, he's going to be the man. And then DK Metcalf, 4 receptions for 66 yards. He had a tough day. Those corners for New York, hey, that's a great duo, right? We all know that. JSN, 4 receptions for 74 yards. Again, they didn't get a lot of catches, but especially JSN, man, he really is becoming, that first round pick, first overall receiver taken in the draft that year. Again, I think we were lucky that he fell to us that far. If he wouldn't have had an injury to him at the end of the college season, I think he would have been drafted much higher. So again, we're lucky, and now we're starting to see that come to fruition. And the catches he did make, they were huge, right? Again, not a lot of catches. Not like he hit over 100 yards this game or anything, but the receptions he did come up with, they were in key moments and on key downs for Seattle to help them win this game. And then just overall, talking about that defense, yeah, they gave up a touchdown, on that to start the game. But once after that, they were nails, right? They were great after that. Ernest Jones still looks like a stud. Again, putting everybody in good position, being in good position himself. Again, Leonard Williams just out of this world. Devin Witherspoon, my goodness, the man is he plays with his hair on fire. Byron Murphy looked good in this game. Kobe Bryant still looked good. Julian Loved, I thought he looked great in this game and wasn't really talked about enough. The one I guess I would say so. Reek Woolen, he had the one play that was like, it was the 3rd and 26 in which they gained like 24 yards, right? And I think it was Julian Love kind of yelled at him like, "Hey, you need to like sprint over here and go after this guy so that he goes out of bounds sooner." Right? I'd say the whole defense was playing a little bit too relaxed there and too far off. That's why they gained that yard. But Woolen was there and he didn't look like he was going all out, right? And then Julian Love, I believe it was, got on his case a little bit, and you could see Reek Woolen. We're seeing this trend with him. If he makes a bad play, or if something happens in his area, it gets in his head a little bit, and then he might have another negative play or two right afterwards. So he's got to get that cleaned up. He's got to figure out a way to keep his head in the game and not get too down when something bad happens, because then it seems like it gets to him, and then he'll have a couple bad plays in a row. But overall, the defense is still playing like an elite defense, and at this point now, we are at the top of the standings in our division. We are in first place. We're 7-5. The Cardinals are 6-6. The Rams are 6-6. We play against the Cardinals next, so we could put ourselves in a position to be 2 games ahead of them, and have the definite tiebreaker because we'll have swept them. The Rams, we'll see what happens with them. I'm just not a believer in the talent overall on that roster. They have enough elite players at key positions that maybe they can overcome the overall talent on the roster, but I just don't feel like they're going to be able to keep up with this. And the 49ers right now, with everything they're dealing with, if they lose this week, you can say they're out of it. So there's a really good chance right now the Seahawks win this division and will get a home playoff game. And with the way this defense is playing, I'm not going to say this team is going to go to the Super Bowl or anything, but if this team makes the playoffs, look out. They could make a little run in the playoffs that could be special with the way they're playing right now, and with the fact that we're about to get Uchenna Nwosu back. He's coming back healthy. Some people thought he might have been back for this game. That didn't happen, so it's seeming pretty likely that he might show up for this Cardinals game. And then if we have him back the rest of the season to go, remember, every time or any time that Uchenna Nwosu has been in the lineup, the run defense has improved. So if we're getting what we're getting right now, which has already been improved with bringing Ernest Jones over, then look out. This team really could continue to be elite from this point on through the rest of the season and the postseason. And if we could just figure out that interior offensive line, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think we could make a nice little run in the playoffs with the way things are going. All right. Well, that's what I just wanted to get on here, talk about this game. Again, we have the Cardinals coming up. We need to play them just like we did in the last game. Continue to play good run defense. Don't let James Conner get yards on you. Don't let him get yards after first contact. Take him down. Keep all your players in the correct position. Be in the right position. Complete the tackle. Don't let them break tackles. And force Kyler Murray to be the one to beat you. You did it last game. If you do it again, you come away with another win and really cement yourself in, being the ones in control. Complete control of the division the rest of the way. All right, everybody. Let me know what you thought of that game. Let me know what you think of our chance against the Cardinals in the upcoming game. And thanks for listening to the Seattle Sports Show, where we watch legends awaken. So take cover, because with the CF sound, you'll see us rise to reign supreme and win forever.